Let me tell you something about Michel Foucault that not so many seem to know about. Between the years 1971 and 1973, Foucault was so into activism that he hardly wrote anything at all. When he started writing again, he had changed his entire approach and he had a new understanding of power. So something definitely happened to Foucault in 1970, but what was that? Well, he went to the States, to New York. A few months later, in February 1971, back in France, he took part in forming a group of scholars and activists investigating and spreading information about the reality of French prisons. So what did he do in New York? Well, he encountered the Black Panther Party, the BPP. The BPP, the Revolutionary Black Nationalist Organization that was active mainly between 1966 and 1982. The party's basic assumption was that the African American population in the US lived in a warlike state as a suppressed colony within the borders of a country that claimed to be the defender of every person's right to freedom. The statistics for African American citizens as object of police violence and social suffering served as the party's grounds for motivating not only the vocabulary of war, but also its core practice, namely armed citizens' patrols in black neighborhoods in order to protect the inhabitants from the police. The party also organized several social programs, such as free breakfast for children and free health clinics and so on, also free busing to prisons, so that members of the black community could maintain relations with their numerous loved ones in prison. By 1970, the party was huge. Party members were imprisoned, and in prison they wrote and studied. George Jackson wrote Soledad Brothers, for which Genet, a friend of Foucault's, wrote the introduction. In this book, Jackson presents a vision of giving the prison that which is used to marginalize and silence the black community a key role in the decolonization of the black community. In 1971, Foucault and the French prison movement translated Jackson's letters and spread them in pamphlets, and they also tried to encourage the French prisoners to similarly express their own experiences and to take the control of on the interpretation of reality. Jackson's vision echoes in what Foucault writes in these pamphlets, and we also see all of these echoes transforming his thinking from archaeology and genealogy in the work to come. Foucault reformulates Jackson's vision to move the prison from the margins of political consciousness to the heart of politics, to place the political initiative inside the prison by presenting political visions from within. And this is when Foucault's notion of power changed from the more traditional understanding of power as that which suppresses, like the powerlessness of the mad versus the power of the psychiatrist, for example, in his earlier work, into a notion of power as technology and strategy. The exercise of power is for him no longer merely the privilege of the dominating group. Power does not only belong to the laws, the confinements or restrictions, but can equally arise from below, from the margins or from the imprisoned.